Marcus had lived alone in the northern forest for 15 years. His cabin sat deep within 300 acres of dense woodland, far from civilization, far from people, far from anything that demanded interaction. He logged timber, hunted game, and existed in a solitude he considered bliss. The slave market on the borderlands was a place he visited rarely, maybe once a year, only to trade pelts and acquire the few supplies he couldn't produce himself. It was a necessary evil in a world that still clung to human trafficking, especially of non-human folk. That was where he saw the sack, that a small burlap sack, bound tightly with cord, tucked in the corner of a trader's stall. The trader, a greasy man named Vorn, grinned when he noticed Marcus staring. "Goblin," Vorn said. "Cheap. Strong for their size. Good labor, though they'll run if you let 'em. Stubborn little things." Marcus paid barely anything, just enough to feel it was an exchange rather than theft. Disgust simmered in his chest the whole time. He wasn't a good man, not by any stretch, but he had standards, and owning a slave violated every one of them. Still, if the creature was going to be sold anyway, at least in his forest it would have a chance to escape. That he carried the sack home in silence. At the cabin, Marcus knelt and loosened the cord. What emerged was a small goblin girl, barely 3 feet tall, with gray-green skin, long pointed ears, and amber eyes that locked onto him with fierce calculation. Dirt clung beneath her nails, a thin scar crossed her left cheek. She wore rags. She smelled of fear and defiance, but her eyes held something Vorn had never mentioned. "Do you speak?" Marcus asked gently. The goblin didn't answer. She stared, assessing him like a cornered animal judging whether a predator would pounce. Marcus sighed, made a choice, and walked to the kitchen. He prepared a simple plate, bread, cheese, dried meat, set it on the floor, and then stepped to the far side of the cabin. "Eat," he said. "Then we'll figure things out." For a long moment, she didn't move. Then, with a motion quick as a striking snake, she grabbed the food and retreated to a corner. She ate with desperate efficiency, the hunger of someone who hadn't known plenty in a long, long time. When she finished, she still didn't speak, but something in her posture shifted. Her fear hadn't vanished, but it no longer froze her completely. There was something new beneath it, a fragile, dangerous kind of hope. "My name is Marcus," he said softly. "You don't have to tell me yours. But I need to know, do you understand my language?" She nodded once, sharp and decisive. "Good. Then here's what I'm thinking. There's an abandoned cottage 2 miles from here, still standing. You can stay there. I'll bring food, blankets, tools, whatever you need. You're free to leave whenever you want. If you stay, we'll work something out. But I won't stop you if you go." Her eyes widened just slightly, the first real expression she'd shown. "Why?" she rasped, her voice rough from disuse. Marcus shrugged. "Because I'm tired of being a person I don't like. And because whatever you are, you deserve better than a sack." Weeks passed. The goblin, who eventually told him her name was Kess, didn't leave. She didn't become a servant either. Instead, she became something entirely unexpected, a partner. Kess proved to be an exceptional tracker and herbalist. She knew plants Marcus had never seen, remedies for ailments he'd silently endured for years. Her understanding of the forest fit with his own knowledge like 2 pieces of a puzzle. She worked alongside him, not because she was forced to, but because the work mattered to her. Her humor emerged slowly, first a dry comment, then a snorted laugh, and within 3 months, they were joking like lifelong companions. One evening, as they prepared dinner by the fire, Kess said, "You know what's funny? When you opened that sack, I thought you were going to." She trailed off, unable to voice the horrors she'd expected. "I know," Marcus murmured. "But you took a chance on me." "You gave me a choice," Kess corrected. "Humans don't usually give goblins choices." Marcus looked at her, clever, resilient, sharp-witted, and realized something profound. The slave trader had been utterly wrong. She wasn't labor or property. She was a person, not human, but possessing the one thing that mattered: agency. Dignity. The right to choose her own path. "Well," Marcus said, "you've got all the choices you want here. For as long as you want them. Kes smiled then, a real smile, warm and unguarded. Then I choose to stay, she said. I choose this. I choose you, as a partner. As a friend. In a world that had tried to reduce her to property, a solitary lumberjack had offered her something revolutionary, respect, and that changed everything.